Hey folks, my name is Rene Enriquez and you are watching Uncensored.
This is Rene Enriquez. Nickname Bootser. Black Hand of the Mexican Mafia. Prison gang politics.
Hey folks, my name is Rene Enriquez and you are watching Uncensored. Today we're going to do a little profile on Juan Topo Garcia. I first met Topo in DBI in 1984. In fact, he was part of the wrecking crew. We had a group of guys, myself, Topo, Topo Garcia, not Topo Peters, Tablas from Florencia, Top from El Rio, Roy Boy Rivas from San Diego, Cowboy Higgins from Clover, and a couple other guys. We were part of the wrecking crew. We were the guys that were putting it down there on the yard. In fact, there were carnales on the yard at the time. The first ones were Gator from Florencia 13, Victor Mesa, and Kiki from Primera. His last name was, I think it was Maiz or something like that, right? And they were on the yard. And then who else got there? Güero Pasa, uh, and somebody else was there. I think it was Rocky from uh, Hazard. I'm not sure. I think I'm mistaken on that. But I do remember Wino Grajeda being there, and Chilito was there as well. Chilito from La Rana. Both of those guys were there, but they were in the hole. The guys I was in the general population with was Güero from Pasa, Gator, and Kiki Mays. Yeah, Kiki Mays uh, from Primera Flats. That's his name. Um, but this is at a time when Carnales were on the main line. This is early on in our careers as camaradas. In fact, it was kind of off the hook there in DBI, and that's where I first met Topo. He was on the main line with us. In fact, in one instance, um, the Texas Syndicate stabbed Topo up, uh, and that's when it kicked off with us and the Texas Syndicate. It had happened before then. I think they had a beef with San Diego, and it was just between San Diego and the TS. But then they took off on Topo, and all hell broke loose. Um, but once that happened, they removed all of the syndicate from the yard, right? They isolated them from us, so there was really no opportunity to get at them. They struck at Topo, and I forgot what it was about, but he came to the hole. I was in AdSeg already. I was putting AdSeg because the Cubans had attacked a camarada, right? And a guy named Eric, a little camarada of ours, they attacked him and stabbed him, and we were going to get off on them, and they just swooped up all the main guys, the Sureños, like the wrecking crew. They swooped us all up and put us in the hole. But Topo comes back and he's got scabs all over his body. He didn't get surgery or anything, so they were all superficial wounds. Uh, but I think it was more embarrassing from him than anything. But there was, you get stabbed, you get stabbed. It's all in the line of battle. A lot's been said about Topo recently. I'm not even going to touch on that uh, because I believe a lot of the circumstances are not known. I'm not condoning it. I'm not advocating it. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying I'm not touching on it. Right. I want to talk about the man himself. The man himself that I knew was a good dude, is a good dude, right? Um, well respected carnal. He was a well respected carnal, and still is in some circles, right? There's a lot of misconceptions about what happened recently, 2 years ago, and we're going to touch on some of that. But first, let's talk about the shooting, right? On November 16th, 2024, Garcia was critically wounded in a shooting in the parking lot of Veterans of VFW Hall in La Mirada. A group of gang members had rented the hall for a gathering. Casualties were Garcia. He survived the attack, but Eric Ortiz was killed. Um, this is still an unadjudicated case, so we're not going to go too in depth on it, right? I kind of shy away from unadjudicated cases. But what a lot of people don't know is that Topo was not the primary target. In fact, he was attempting to save somebody, the victim himself, right? The individual who lost their life. And condolences to his family and friends. Just put that out there right now. They didn't even know who Topo was when this went down. But Topo tried to play the hero and got shot himself. So the idea that the clica had put him on the lista for his past or what he had done is completely false. Completely false. So let's correct that now. Uh, Topo got shot because he tried to save the guy. In fact, Topo went to prison originally uh, to the feds for a RICO conspiracy and Sapo's case. He received a 20-year sentence. This is his PSR, the pre-sentence report, right? And and it shows his sentence, which was 20 years. But while he was there serving that time, uh, he kicked off a riot. He was a central figure in a riot at U.S. Penitentiary Lompoc. And that was in 2003, immediately after his sentence, right? He was charged and convicted of inciting a riot. The incident began after a bunch of inmates were drunk, and he got a lot of flack for this, right? He got a lot of flack. There's no mistake about it. He got some political blowback behind it, but he was still remained in good standing. He was and is a cardinal in good standing to this point. Uh, in the incident, 28 staff members, including correctional officers, food service workers, and a Muslim chaplain, were injured. They got off. I mean, they got off. Uh, the inmates barricaded entryways with washing and vending machines, destroyed property, TVs, microwaves, sprinkler systems. Like they really went off. Uh, in 2005, Topo got an ad charge, right? Uh, they took him to court. He got 6 additional years on top of the 20. He did a stretch in the feds, right? And he was around all the big boys. I'm gonna show you some pictures right now. He was around well-respected cardenales. They accepted him for who he was. There was no politicking on him. In fact, the only politicking came from his own homeboys, which is a kind of disillusioning, right? Because that's usually where it comes from, the people closest to you, the people who are envious of what you have or your position. And the politicking never came from the organization, it came from his own homeboys. And we all know who we're talking about, Tablas, Babo, and Wizard, right? So the melee started after they got drunk, and one of the individuals was being taken to the hole, and Topo stepped in and told the lieutenant, and then shoved him and says, "You're not taking anybody." And then he said, denles en la madre, right? It's in other words, it's get them, you know. Uh, eight inmates attacked. Did I say that? Did I really freaking say that? All right, time to get ghetto, bro. 8 inmates attacked the lieutenant, punching, kicking, and choking him. The report says, as he and about 40 other staff members tried to escape the cell block, Garcia demanded that one of the officers apologize to him. The officer hesitated. An inmate punched him in the face. "I'm sorry," he told Garcia, who then let the staff leave. So this was like a righteous melee. It was a righteous riot, and he got the blues for it politically, right? He wasn't put on the lista. Let's get that clear. Topo was never on the lista. He was never put on the lista by the Cardinals, right? Somebody took advantage of the fact after it occurred, right? But let's get into that right now. What I want to show you now is right after this sentencing, right after his sentencing, this is what occurred. So it's kind of like behavioral replication, right? Monkey see, monkey do, right? The Carnal did it with all those camaradas. They got started a riot when a staff member was attempting to take somebody away drunk. So if the Carnal can do it, why can't we do it, right? He's establishing a pattern of behavior. So this incident occurred in 2006. You're going to hear the audio. You're going to hear the video. I want you to watch this video, and we'll unpack it as it goes along. It's about 8 minutes long. This actually occurred on April 11, 2006. One inmate's going to be on the phone, and that's where the audios come from. The audio comes from the inmate dropping the phone and joining the melee. This is going to be a melee, folks. This is almost exactly as it occurred with Topo's incident. These are the inmates here. This inmate's being taken to the hole, the captain and lieutenant. And these inmates here are going to jump in. There it goes. It's jumping.
Aquí hay, pero solo en nuestro centro hay bien caro, solo en dólar.
Now they're saying, we're not having that. We're jumping in.
¿Aló?
Here comes some more.
¿Aló?
It's on. Here comes more Sudanese running up here.
¿Aló? ¿Aló?
These guys abandoned their camarada. The cops. Look at this guy. He's not even getting involved. That's the captain.
¿Aló? ¿Aló?
Where's the backup? Here comes the backup right here. That's the backup. That's the emergency response team right there. Here comes somebody else. Now they're starting to pour in. Now they're coming. No audio. We're getting the audio from the phone. In the external cameras, there's no audio. Backup's finally arrived.
¿Aló?
Now we're getting it. This is Federal Bureau of Prisons.
¿Aló?
These are BOP officers. Look at this guy. He's squaring up with this officer right here. Watch this. They're going to form a skirmish line right here. So the Sudaneños are going to get tactical. Here they go. Here they
¿Aló?
go. They're forming a skirmish line right here. Textbook defensive behavior. They're not on the offense now. They're on the defense. There's some more backup. Just casually strolling in as officers are being attacked. These guys come to get it here. No audio. Here they come. Here they come. They're armed. They got batons and 40 millimeters.
¿Aló?
Staff finally have control the situation. They're coming in deep. Watch this here. Over here. This guy, poor guy, watch what happens. Right between his legs. They're responding. The lady on the phone says, I've had enough of this. All the focus of BOP is right here, controlling this right here. Check out Homeboy. Check him out. He's slithering back to the cell. Right here. No more audio. Strictly video. They proned everybody out. Deployed flashbangs. Check him out. Mission Impossible. Look at him. They don't even see him. I think he's thinking to himself, I got away. I got away. If I move real slow, nobody can see me. Check him out. He's just pulling himself around the ground. He's getting it. He's getting it. Just as soon as they're coming up the stairs. He makes it into a cell. He makes it all the way back into a cell and gets away. And here they come upstairs in force. Now, these guys are all detained. They're all in flex cuffs. This guy's got a 40 millimeter or a 37 millimeter baton. Uh, uh, Big Bertha. We call it Big Bertha, right? That's what it's called, Big Bertha. Everybody calls it that. It's either 37 millimeter or 40 millimeter baton round. And they shoot a variety of different rounds. This guy's on it right here. This guy's on it right here. They're going to provide coverage. They're securing the cells, which is common behavior when an incident occurs. Lock everybody in. These guys are going to the hole. And I dare say they're going to get ad charged. They're checking all doors. They're locking them and securing them. And I got to say, this incident occurred right after Topo was sentenced, right? And this is not the incident, let's make it clear right now, that Topo participated in. I think Topo's was a lot worse, right? Where they actually started tearing the place up. Here, this was a direct assault against the officers. It was the same situation, but it's so similar that I thought that it related to the Juan Garcia incident that occurred a couple years before, that Topo received an additional the second sentence on for 6 years, right? And it's interesting to see how Sureños respond. You mess with one, you mess with all. That's the rule. If one Sureño gets into it, all Sureños get into it. And that stands everywhere. If a Sureño's getting down with another race, all Sureños are going to jump up. If a Carnal's getting down, all camaradas are going to get up, right? That's just the way it works. It's one massive group in unison that moves in unison. And that's what makes them so powerful in prison, right? Because they have the numbers. They have individuals who don't care about additional sentences, who don't care about a life sentence, that they'll jump at a moment's notice. And this is a direct reflection of that here. And I think it's this behavioral replication, kind of like I saw this Carnal do it, he did it, and the other camaradas did it, so it's cool for us to do. And that's exactly what's happening here. So there you have it, folks. There's that video that occurred in another BOP facility. But look at Topo here. Topo is a well-respected Cardan. This is San Ojeda right here, and that's Black Bob Ramirez, right? Two heavyweight Carnales. He's in good standing. After the incident occurred, he's still with Carnales. He's among Carnales everywhere he goes. He wasn't isolated. I mean, he did his shoot time, but he wasn't isolated or PC'd up or put on the next yard. He stood his ground. He came out and walked with the big dogs. So he was a well-respected Carnal. This is him after he put the black hand on his neck. And that brings to the forefront, what is Topo's status now? Topo's status is withdrawn voluntarily because after this incident occurred, where he was assaulted and shot in La Mirada, individuals from his neighborhood, we all know who we're talking about, seized the opportunity to take away what he had, right? They seen it. They seen the opportunity. It was opportunistic and parasitic, and they did it. Juan Topo Garcia was never on the lista. That's what this is about. He was never on the lista. And he's chosen to remove himself, which is good for him, great for him. You know, why go back to a group of individuals, your own homeboys, who are going to stab you in the back first opportunity they get because they're jealous of what you have? You know, it's just the life. It is the life of the organization, continuous betrayal and backstabbing and envy, and it's all for money, right? There is no carnalismo. That's the reality of this, right? Topo gave his life to the organization, and to have people betray him at first opportunity, because there's always politics. There's four kings and one throne, right? And we're going to follow up with this on a whole slew of coverage on Florencia. But I just wanted to put this out there as quickly as possible because I got it fresh from the horse's mouth. And I thought everybody should be aware of that, because everybody has made speculation. A bunch of content creators made speculation that it was this and it was that, it was the other. And that's not the truth at all. It was a unplanned, spontaneous incident that occurred, and Topo was not the primary target. He was not the primary target. He never was intended to be shot. They didn't even know who he was at the time. With that said, folks, I hope you like this episode, this brief profile on Juan Topo Garcia from Florencia, another Florenciano. As always, stay safe. Enjoy your weekend. Peace out.
This is Rene Enriquez. Nickname Boots.